fast.
Like a meter.
Friendly care package inbound.
Call of Duty nostalgia has to be a real thing. Like, surely, look at all these videos. People are missing all the old Call of Duties. And I completely understand why. I'm the Crab, and in this video, I'm going to talk about my love and passion for Call of Duty, and where I think it went wrong. Whether or not you're nostalgic for the campaigns, or the multiplayer, or the zombies of all the old Call of Duties, everyone misses something. Anyone born between 1990 and I don't know, 2008 had to have experienced at least one of the good Call of Duties. From Call of Duty the original to Black Ops 3, or actually, no, Black Ops 3. I think that was the last Call of Duty I liked. But it wasn't the first Call of Duty I played. Someone's journey into Call of Duty can start in any way possible. But most of the time, it starts with the purchase of a console, where it be a Xbox 360, or a PS3, or an old computer, or hey, if that was you, even the Wii, somehow. But for me, it started when I was 10 years old with my PS3. Nowadays, the PS3 sits behind the old TV next to my PS4 and my Wii. It hasn't been used in a long time. Despite being a really outdated console now, back in 2014, man was this amazing. I got mine on Christmas Day, and with it came a few games. See, one of my friends had recently just stopped using his PS3, so he had a bunch of old games. One of those games was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or Call of Duty 4, and that was my first Call of Duty game. However, in 2014, Call of Duty 4 was already an old game, about 7 years old, so I didn't even bother with the multiplayer. However, I did play the campaign, and it immediately got me hooked on Call of Duty. One of my first Call of Duty memories comes from Call of Duty 4, and that was sitting down on Christmas Day, playing the campaign, and getting up to the mission when you're on the cargo ship, and something blows up and the ship starts sinking. I got stuck on that level. I got stuck 3 times because I kept going the wrong way within the maze and the corridors of the underbellies of the ship, and I had an absolute blast. And by the end of the year, I'd already finished the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, which is my absolute favorite campaign out of any Call of Duty. While a lot of people shit on the Modern Warfare 3 campaign for being a lot of filler, it was scenes like the one I'm about to show you that truly made it for me.
Frost! Frost! Get switched on. We gotta move now. Jammer's 500 meters north. We'll leg it from here. Let's go.
Of course, we know now that the Russians will never be able to do that, but back then, that was the coolest thing I could have ever seen. The game has an ending so satisfying that it feels rewarding to have played the 2 previous games. Throughout the 3 games, Makarov is built up as this all-powerful villain through things like the nuke scene and No Russian, and how he slowly kills off your entire team until it is just you, Captain Price, on the rooftop alone struggling with him until you finally get the satisfying ending. It was amazing, and I could not have wanted anything more. What is there to say about Call of Duty multiplayer that hasn't been said a million times before? I could talk about how liberal cucks wouldn't last a second in the lobbies.
Dude, you want me to bring your mom into this? Cause your mama is so fat.
I could talk about how people made friends that either lasted a lifetime or you haven't seen them online for about 6 years. I could talk about the tiny community of emblem artists who wanted to customize their Call of Duty page to their maximum extent. I'm sure you've seen enough of your fair share of they see me rolling emblems within the Call of Duty lobbies. That is something that just isn't in the new Call of Duties. No one customizes their emblems, no one puts them on top of riot shields. It's not there anymore. There is one thing I want to briefly talk about though, and that is Black Ops 2 multiplayer modding. And I'm not talking about the modders that went around ruining the fun for everyone by just insta-killing them over and over again. I'm talking about the modders who created this game mode within the multiplayer. It was like a zombie survival game mode, or they would make a prop hunt multiplayer. And I don't know, it provided a very unique experience where people came together and you would just randomly find these lobbies. You couldn't search for them. It was completely random. But I remember it so well, climbing on top of like crates and that the modders had put in the map in order to survive the zombie horde of players that had been killed. And it was such a unique thing, and I have never seen it since Black Ops 2. It's hard to talk about Call of Duty multiplayer without mentioning a few YouTubers. Most of my Call of Duty classes were based off those made in Alier's creator class videos. I didn't really watch them for much else, but man, those classes got me through some good games. Obviously I have to mention Pamaj as well. I wouldn't be his quickscoper extraordinaire without him. I also have to mention Vanos Gaming. Coming home from school when I was in like year 4 or something, and seeing his videos being released, they were the funniest things ever. I used to go to school the next day and use all the jokes of my friends, and they used to watch them so they would understand them. One day I was doing dance, because that's just what you did in primary school back then, and I started doing this little thing, like it was a bit off topic, but I'd seen one of Vanos Gaming's GTA 5 videos. And in GTA 5 there's a little emote where your character starts like jerking off with his hand, and I started doing that in the dance because I didn't know what it was. I was in year 4, I was like 10 years old, and I got in huge trouble. I got in massive trouble. I thought it was like an air guitar sort of thing, but that was absolutely hilarious when I found out. And lastly, I want to mention Jay Schlatt and his work at the Weekly Slap channel. The content is so down to earth, and it has influenced me greatly. And I know he's not like one of the OG YouTube content creators that everyone loved, but it's still good Call of Duty content. Anyway, I think that's enough of multiplayer. Call of Duty offers one more game mode that has such a convoluted story. Apparently it requires a 6.5 hour video in order just to get up to date, and that is zombies.
A story of 4 lone survivors. One forsaken crew. And a shipload of the undead. The bone-chilling tale inspired by legendary director George Romero. It's anchors away for brain-splattering action.
I gotta say, my best memories from zombies come from the maps Kino der Toten and Buried. They're 2 very different zombies maps. Kino der Toten's more of a creepy sort of grunge sort of map, but it was an absolute blast, and it is my favorite map. With the thunder gun and the whole cinema thing going on, it was very fun to play. I still have it on Black Ops 1 on my PS3. Buried is the exact opposite of this. The theme, while still kind of dark with the whole mining thing going on outside, underneath it's just some like old hick country town with a big guy called Leroy, and that was an absolute blast to play as well. I remember finding a ray gun Mark II for the first time and thinking, holy shit, this thing's cool. Plus there was also that glitch where you could get inside the wall, and then you could just farm zombies the whole time without ever dying. The only thing you risked was running out of ammo. Those were the 2 maps I had the best experiences with. But I also remember watching YouTubers like Mr. Dalek JD, Mr. T Lexify, Mr. Roffle Waffles, and Noah J456 all play zombies. I was very interested in the whole lore side of thing behind zombies until it got just way too complicated with alternate dimensions and all that shit going on. It was pretty simple where it just you had element 115 and it infected people. That was cool. That was interesting to watch. But now just a whole 6-hour video just to get behind the whole lore behind zombies. It's just too much for me now. Speaking of problems, this goes well into my next point, where I think Call of Duty went wrong. And the list that I've written down is so big that I think I'm just going to quickfire them. COD points, and to an extent, loot boxes. The battle pass. Dumb system. I want what I paid for immediately. Tactical sprint. Gameplay is way too fast. Calm down your ADHD brains. Too many guns. Makes it hard to balance. People don't learn the guns. Gunplay is just harder. Remastering old maps. Please, you're feeding off my nostalgia. I want new maps so I can get nostalgic on them in 10 more years' time. The community is changing. Kids nowadays have a lot less attention span. I think that in itself is ruining Call of Duty. An extension of this is the popularity of Discord. People are not forced into having voice chat conversations anymore, which kind of ties back to the whole like in-game voice chat special moments that I remember having. They just don't happen anymore. The complicated menus, like I tried playing Modern Warfare 2 Warzone and I couldn't navigate the menu. Call me old-fashioned, but I would like just simply a play game, a create a class button, a what else? Score streaks button, and barracks. I want barracks as well. The focus on skill, I feel like Call of Duty used to be a lot more casual. Skill-based matchmaking just forces me to have shitty games all the time. It felt good to actually like improve over time and then shit on the people that were bad. The unsafe old multiplayers can't play anything before Cold War, and Cold War's like 3 years old. Activision itself, fuck you Activision. The cost of the game, it should not cost me 110 Australian dollars to buy Call of Duty. And the absolute size of the game. Really, like 110 gigabytes, that is huge for a Call of Duty. I just want my little arcade shooter back. That is all. Sorry to sound like old man yells at cloud here, but the funnest COD games I've played in the last 7 years have been Call of Duty 4 Remastered, released in 2016, and Call of Duty World War II, after they fixed all the issues. But I'm gonna call myself a bit of a hypocrite here, because judging by recent trends, this year will be the year that they release Modern Warfare 3 Remastered. And I know that I am going to fork out a bit of money, and I am going to play that campaign. Because at the end of the day, I still love Call of Duty, even if I can't play the new games. I want to recapture those experiences I had. And I know I won't be able to. That's all a part of growing up. And I guess I just need to accept that for now. But thank you for watching, and goodbye.